Hello, everybody, and welcome to our Tuesday night class. I know if you've been following us, we missed a couple of weeks, but we're back here and we're excited to be here because this is one of my favorite topics, and that is sleep. How many of you guys have a easy time falling asleep, but find yourself waking up in the middle of the night or early in the morning and can't go back to sleep? Or maybe you toss and turn and you can't fall asleep. And then by the time you do fall asleep, it's time to get up. And if you're like me, it's like when that happens, I am even more tired than when I went to bed in the first place. So I think that everybody here can relate to one of these two pictures. It's okay, I'm just laying here with my mind so full of things that I can't shut down, or I fall asleep. I was talking to a gal earlier today and she said, I just sleep so good. So I'm super grateful for her and that she is able to sleep good. But tonight we're hoping that we can give you guys a couple of different ideas that can make your sleep even better. Sleep is so important to us. If we want to have full, rich days and full of lots of energy, it's really important that we, get the proper amount of sleep. And as you know, when you're younger and you're running around playing and exercising and, you don't have all the worries of the world, sometimes it's a lot easier for you to sleep and get a lot of really good rest. It seems as we get older, our minds are full of things and it's harder to shut things down. And maybe we're not getting as much movement as we're used to. So all of those things start to contribute to restlessness and, maybe laying there awake a little bit. So on the screen, we have, first of all, a couple of my favorite products. I love Balance. I love Lavender. I love Serenity. If you guys are here live with us, tell us what are your favorite sleep oils or oils to get better sleep with or more rest. Put that in the chat for us so that we can share ideas with each other. Now, these are just a few of the tips that many of us probably avoid or have forgotten to have good practice. So just like when we were little kids and we had a bedtime routine, having a nighttime routine as adults or teenagers is equally just as important. Things like, making sure that your room is nice and quiet, maybe being able to eliminate some of the white light or the bright lights in there, the noises that might happen. If you have an alarm clock or something that ticks really loud, or maybe you sleep with your window open and there's a lot of noise going on outside, some of the things you might consider is, getting some blackout blinds or shutting your window and having a cool fan. I have quite a few of my friends who like to have a noisemaker next to them, whether it's, the sound of water or crackling of the leaves. I have another friend who just loves the humming of a fan. And so she's found that it's really easy for her to fall asleep and to not be distracted by other noises when she has a fan playing or soft music. I also believe that having a great bedtime routine, like we kind of mentioned just a minute ago, is, having your bedtime at the same time every night if you can. I know for some, if you have little kids or maybe you're super active or maybe you have a business where you have shift work, having the same nighttime bedtime might not work out. But the easier it is for you to come up with, okay, between 7 and 8 is when I start getting ready for bed. And some of those habits might be, turning off the computer, turning off all the extra noise. If you're watching TV, turn off that noise. Start settling down. Maybe you're playing some soft music in the background or no noise at all. Being able to, have a nighttime routine of, maybe it's taking a nice hot soak, or maybe you like to take a nice shower before you go to bed. And, you can use different essential oils in your bath. I love taking Epsom salt, or I'll take, Himalayan salts, Dead Sea salt, and I have a big bucket next to my bathtub of all kinds of different salts. And then on my tub, on the edge, I have a bunch of different essential oils that I love to custom blend. What is it that I need to create for a hot soak tonight? Sometimes it might be that my body feels, tense or tired, or, maybe I've really worked it out and so it needs to be relaxed. Sometimes it's my mind. Sometimes it's a combination of both. And so you can really customize some of those smells. Now, maybe you're not a bath or a hot soak taker, right? At getting your diffuser. Having a diffuser that is diffusing in your sleep area is super, not only comforting, but think of getting that nighttime message of almost like a sweet lullaby all night as you're sleeping. Sometimes in diffusers, you guys, I'll love to have, maybe it's a little citrus. So often people think of essential oils like lavender or there's vetiver or cedarwood, juniper berry. There's so many different combinations of oils that we can put together. But if you've had a lot of trauma in your life, maybe you've had a life that's just been full of ups and downs, so in that case, you might consider using a citrus oil, something that's a little bit more uplifting or calming, makes you happy, reminds your mind that everything is going to be okay. I have a really good friend who tried all the different sleep recipes and sprays and essential oil blends, and nothing was really helping her sleep. So we did something just pretty much the opposite, and she started using wild orange and frankincense. And she would simply just put a couple of drops of each in the palm of her hand. She would rub her hands together. She would take a couple of deep breaths, and then she would rub it on the back of her neck and then across her chest. And she swears that is like the very best thing for her to sleep to. And it's going to be different for every person. And so if you've been trying a bunch of recipes and it hasn't gotten you what you need, make sure you reach out of that box where everybody else is saying these are great for sleep and try just the opposite. Okay, so other things that you can do is, we've already talked about having a time of night that you try to always be in bed, because your body gets in a habit. And, just like waking up in the morning ready to go, the same thing happens at night. It gets used to a certain rhythmic clock. And so have you ever, like, time change? It's like, even though it's light outside, my body is saying, gosh, I am tired. It feels like it should be time for bed. And that's your natural rhythm just kicking in. Other things that you might want to avoid, especially early in the afternoon. So if you're somebody who drinks a lot of caffeinated drinks, maybe, coffees or teas or different things, you'll want to definitely take, and for me, it's like 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. If I, have a cup of coffee or something with a friend later, I always have a harder time falling asleep. Now, your body gets used to this too. So if it's something that you've done for a very long time, I have a couple of friends who drink coffee all day, which I don't understand how they do that, but they also complain about not being able to sleep. So some of the things that they might do is replace that caffeinated drink with a decaf. They've got all kinds of different products, decaf coffee. Maybe it's, having an herbal tea instead of a tea with caffeine in it. And just really, be mindful of what are some of the things that I'm putting into my body that might stimulate it and help it from being able to be in that constant adrenal fatigue. Now, we mentioned at the very beginning, kids when we're young, when we're, 8, 9, 10, 12, we are just running all over the place. We're riding bikes and we're hiking and we're playing and we're, playing ball. And it's a lot easier for kids to sleep because they've got plenty of exercise during the day. So for some, I have much more energy in the morning, so I love to get up and get that walk in, or mid-afternoon instead of that cup of coffee. I've been trying to get out and get some fresh air and go for a nice walk. But you're going to want to also be mindful of, if you are, depending on your shift, you may not be able to get your exercise or your movement in until later in the evening. Just make sure you try to get that done before, 3 or 4 hours before you are trying to shut down. It's just a lot easier for your body to do that. Another really great thing to be mindful of is avoiding big meals before bedtime. Now, when I was younger, it didn't matter. Like, I could eat right before bed and it wouldn't bother me. I'd wake up and I'd feel refreshed. Now, because of my metabolism and the way that my body has changed, I find that if I'm eating larger meals in the evening, my body has not had a chance to process it or to digest it properly. So I toss and turn. Now, a lot of times when I'm working with them for sleep, one of the first questions that I ask is, do you fall asleep easy and then wake up about 2 or 3 in the morning? Or do you have a hard time falling asleep and then sleep really deep later in the day or in the morning? Well, there is something too when people toss and turn about 3 or 4 in the morning. It is their organs starting up again, especially like your kidney and your liver. And if you look it up, you can Google search body clock or nighttime, and it'll show different things of where your body is actually resting throughout the night. And I know here it is, have a glass of warm milk before you go to bed, or like something really light, like fruits. My husband's favorite is sliced strawberries with a little bit of milk on it just before he goes to bed as an evening snack. It's lightweight and it helps him to be able to just have that hunger pain go away, or that need for snacking. You guys, having that nighttime routine is really, really important. So starting with, brushing your teeth, taking your shower, doing your hot soak, maybe you have a routine of putting on certain scented lotions. This is another thing that I have absolutely fallen in love with, is doTERRA's unscented lotion, because you can customize it for whatever you need. So if you take a hot soak or your shower, or maybe you're just, winding down for the evening, you could customize and choose oils to put in that unscented lotion, and then just, give your feet a nice rub down and thank them for carrying you throughout the day and as hard as they work for you. Also, I mentioned earlier, having a time when you turn off all electronics. And I know, you guys, it's really easy to sit in that lounge chair and scroll through social media for a couple of hours. But what happens when you do that is your mind gets more stimulated and you start thinking about different things, and everything from, I wonder why they, have such a great life, or look at, they're always on vacation, they always look so happy, or, you might be watching current events. I have a friend who was just talking to me about, she said, I've got to stop watching all of the things on Instagram and all the little commercials and all the videos, because some of them are getting into my head and it's causing me to have nightmares. So our body and our brain does not know the difference between if it's real or if it's in a movie. And so as we're going to bed and we're trying to shut down and quiet that noise, and we're watching or reading things that are stimulating, it's going to definitely have an impact on the way that we sleep. Okay, so doTERRA has some really, really great answers for us, and I would love for you guys that are here live, if you'll put in the chat, which part of the sleep system do you love most? Like for me, I love all of it. Serenity is one of those essential oils that for, I'm going to say 15 years now, I have used Serenity in one form or another every single day. What I love about it is you can layer it in and you can use all 3 of these parts. So the essential oil itself is a 15 ml bottle. There's 250 drops in that bottle. What I love about it is you can put it in your diffuser. You could also make your own like sheet spray or sleep spray by simply taking a glass bottle or a bottle with a spray top, adding whatever essential oils you want. And when I'm making a spray bottle, I usually do about 1/8 or 1/10 essential oils in the bottle. So it doesn't matter. So if you've got a great big bottle, you're just going to keep adding until, just a small portion of that bottle has essential oils in it. And then I love doing a blend of water and witch hazel. That really helps the essential oils bind really well to the essential oil. Then you just shake it up. You can spritz it and spray it on your pillowcases. You can put it on your towels. You can even spray it on your jammies if you want to. But those oils that are in there, it's like a really great spray that just helps to calm the mind. The other things I love to do with Serenity oil or any of the essential oils is, I've already mentioned, I add it to my unscented lotion before I go to bed at night. And I've got some diffuser blends coming up for you guys in just a minute, but you guys, we can customize it. Now the Serenity stick, which is the product that's in the middle, it's the consistency of like a deodorant stick. Oh man, do I ever love this one. So this one, every night it sits next to my bed. I roll it, I rub it on my wrist, both my wrists, and I rub my wrists together because I like to sleep with my wrists tucked up under my face. And so I get that constant aroma of Serenity. I also love it because it stays on longer. Now I want you guys to consider with Serenity, it's like a calming blend. It not only has lavender and different essential oils in it, but it also has valerian in it, which is an extra boost for sleep. Now, sometimes I will put an essential oil on underneath it, and then I'll put the stick on top. And that just helps keep that oil at the surface where my body's most going to utilize it. The Serenity stick also, I want you to think of anything that needs to be calmed down. So if you have been on your feet all day and they're hurting and throbbing, and I know you guys know what I'm talking about. It doesn't happen all the time, but if I'm wearing high heel shoes or, something like that. So what I'll do is I'll take that sleep stick and I'll put it across the bottoms of my feet because I'm wanting to calm down that area. Now, if the next thing I do is I take the deep blue stick and I add it to it, and those two smells together for me is like heaven. Now, on the left-hand side here, we've got the Serenity Sleep Complex. These guys, you guys, I use them during the day if I know I'm going to have a very hectic day where things might get a little overwhelming. If I just need to have that, I'm going to call it a chill pill. So I'll take one of those and I'll take it with my morning supplements just to kind of give me that little chill on my morning. But I really love it because at night I'll take one or two of them just depending on how hectic my day has been to help calm my mind down. And this is a system that I've used all three of these for such a long time. I can't imagine one day without it. Okay, lavender. So lavender is one of the world's most popular, most used essential oils. I love that doTERRA has ours that is just like you open up the bottle and it's like you're feeling a field full of fresh lavender flowers. And we know that lavender is very calming in all areas, whether it's to our skin, to our mind, maybe it's to, we've got our seasonal threats are happening, we've got itchy eyes, watery noses. This essential oil will work for all of those. So, and here's great ideas that are on the screen where you guys can use them for different things. I want to remind you that something so simple can be very, very effective with just whiffing of the bottle, right? So if you or somebody that doesn't like to have the oil all over them, which I can't understand, but for some, it's like, okay, just open up the bottle, take it up, put to your nose, and just take a few deep breaths from the bottle. And then if you want, you can put it in your hands and you can put it wherever you want to be able to calm down. Now, this is another really great one, especially for kids. We do a monster spray here where we take a 15 ml repurposed bottle. So we take the bottle when it's all gone, we peel the label off and clean it, and then we add we add lavender, marjoram, and a little bit of juniper berry in the bottle, and then we just fill it up with water, and you can shake it and you can spray it. What's great about this blend is the marjoram helps with just calming the mind as well as lavender. The juniper berry helps with irrational thoughts. I always call it the what if oil. So what if this happens? What if that happens? And so if you have a child or even you're an adult who has gone through traumatic experience, or maybe they just go to bed at night and they are scared, this could have a lot to do with cartoons these days, and they just are worried, then you can take that and, we'll take the bottle and we'll spray it under the bed and we'll spray it in the closet and we'll spray it on the pillows. And then we just have this little ritual that we just say, okay, monsters, go away. And it's, gets rid of them. And the oil benefit is it actually helps them to calm their minds and help them to know that they don't have to be scared of anything. Okay, so here's another. I just love this picture of this little girl because who doesn't want to sleep like that? And just rest and be so peaceful and feel so safe. So, this roller bottle blend is for a 10 ml roller and it's called Sleep Tight. So, 3 drops of vetiver. So, what we know about vetiver is it helps to shut down or calm the central nervous system. So, if you have somebody who's super anxious, maybe they've gone through a very traumatic experience, or maybe they've been being teased, or who knows. There's so many things out there in the world today, and so that one is going to really help calm those things down. Now, 5 drops of cedar wood. So cedar wood is just a really grounding essential oil. It helps us to be reminded emotionally that we're not alone, that we get to do this as a community, that we get to be a part of something, and it really is great for just calming down. Again, it's great for your chest, so if you have any kind of respiratory going on, it helps to calm that. And then of course we have the lavender. You guys, this blend has been being used for such a long time. It's very, very simple. You put those oils into the 10 ml roller and then you just top it off with fractionated coconut oil. You can apply it behind the ears like you would perfume, the back of the neck. If it's all in the mind, so if somebody just worries and worries, you can also go across the forehead. So we want to get the oils to the place where the emotion is held. So maybe they're very, very sad. Maybe they've had a lot of, sadness, or, and for a small child, sadness could be, missing 3 on their spelling test. It's different for everyone. And one of the things I want to remind you guys of is that these essential oils work with our bodies in nature. So it helps to support it wherever it is. So if somebody is really anxious and you just want to help them calm down, this Sleep Tight recipe would be amazing for that too. It's just how much do we use and how often do we apply it? When the body is tired and worn down and you use the same exact essential oils, it's going to help them sleep and be able to turn off all the mind chatter and all the anxiousness and to be able to rest in peace. Now, Calmer here in the middle, this is from doTERRA's Kid Collection. I absolutely love the Kid Collection for so many different reasons, but one of them is because everybody at any age can use it. It's ready. It's ready for a brand new baby. Calmer is one that with my new grandbaby that's almost 3 months old, she gets this on her every time I'm around her. And not because, I'm super anxious, but it's like I just want her to feel peace and comfort. So I take the roller and I just roll it across the back of her neck. Or if I know she gets tired, and sometimes she'll get so tired that she can't fall asleep. So then I'll just put a little bit in my hands and I just kind of wave my hands over her so that she can smell it. And then I'll just tap a little tiny bit underneath her nose, and then I'll rub the bottoms of her feet. And within seconds, you guys, she is calmer and feeling so good. Now, I also want to remind you guys that you can use this any time of the day too with kids or animals that are anxious. I'm getting ready to take my dog to get his nails trimmed. He knows what's happening, and he'll just start shaking. So I'll take the Calmer, I'll put it on my hands, and I'll just rub it down the back of his neck. I'll put it under his belly, and then I'll go down his legs, and it does help to kind of take the edge off. I love this one because it's the oil of childhood inner peace. Anytime somebody's feeling overwhelmed, overstimulated, overscheduled, stressed, emotional overload, agitated, restless, or anxious. As I'm reading those, I'm thinking, gosh, I've had at least 4 of those I felt today. I'm so grateful that I have essential oils. Now, in the far right-hand bottom corner is Symphony of the Cells. I love that this is something that we can use on everyone of any age, and you can customize it. So if you've got a little one or an adult, or maybe it's for yourself, where you're going, I've got so much going on, I can't get out of it, then consider having an aroma touch given to you, or find somebody who has the Symphony of Cells and let them walk you through different protocols that can really help to support you. All right, so then we are introducing Shinrin Yoku. If you guys are watching the replay of this, know that around June, we are going to have a release of a special limited time product with Shinrin Yoku Bath Bar and also a beard, hair, and hair balm. It will be limited supply, so when you see it, get it. It'll probably be limited to how many we can get. I would max out on it because this is something that a couple of years ago they came out with a balance one for men's beards, and then there was another one. And people still today are asking for it because not only does it last a long time, but men love it, and I use it. Like, I love it for the tips of my hair or different things. It's really, really great. So anyway, back to Shinrin Yoku. This one is forest bathing. So this one is an essential oil blend. So you can see here on the left-hand side, it has patchouli, which helps us with being grounded. It has magnolia. Magnolia, you guys, is one of the best calming essential oils. It has a natural antihistamine in it. So if you don't love lavender, this would be a great one to reach for. Anytime you have fir or tree oils, they're very grounding. I love the picture of this tree on the right hand side with, the big roots and just how full it is. And you just, gosh, it's been through so much, and yet it still stands so tall, and it's got the light shining through it. I want to be in that picture, and I want what that tree offers. And so when we have tree oils, we can just feel really secure, stable, grounded. All right, so we also have cardamom. So cardamom is one of the essential oils that's kind of a hidden oil in this blend. It's from the ginger family, so it helps with our respiratory, it helps with our sinuses, it helps with our digestion, helps us to process through what life has to give us. So again, this essential oil is really great for grounding. It encourages, some love and some self-acceptance. It helps us to get rid of any of the negativity that might be surrounding us, whether it's from other people or our thoughts. And so you guys, when you use this oil, you can experience lowering of blood pressure. It will help to ease the tension and the stress that you might be feeling. It helps to boost the immune system through antimicrobial compounds. So those trees, the patchouli, the cypress, cardamom, the lemon petitgrain, which is the only way you can get this oil. So think of this one when you're on complete overload and you need to be grounded. I was working with a gal here earlier today, and she's like, I just feel so unsteady. She goes, my feet are so sensitive to like even the soles in my shoes if there's like a print on it. And so we dug a little deeper into the emotions of it, and she was, quite honestly, she was like, I can't believe that we figured this all out. And it had to do with just being through a lot of traumatic experiences and a lot of loss. So, our job here is we can empower you on how can we look at it differently, or what kind of things can support us. And some of those things are keeping us awake at night. Okay, so here's a list of some diffuser blends. You guys, if you have your phones out, go ahead and take a screenshot. You'll notice that there are some of the oils that are used over and over, like Breathe. Breathe essential oil, when most people may not think of, sleep and rest, but if you have airways that get blocked, or, maybe you live with somebody who's a heavy breather or a snorer, well, Breathe is really great because it's going to help to open up those airways so that they can breathe more freely. And then one of my favorites is Lights Out. We actually make this in a roller bottle that you can wear like perfume, or you can put it, underneath the nose. You can also find the reflex points on your feet, which are around your toes, where you can apply oils to help with, emotions and sleeping and breathing more clearly. And Citrus Bliss. So my sister and I have both had our share of life experiences that have been, exciting. And so for me, Serenity has always been my go-to oil for calming me down, for, just kind of, saying, okay, take a deep breath and just let's be calm. For my sister, she needed something to remind her that it's going to be okay, the more citrusy, uplifted, and Citrus Bliss has not only a bunch of citrus oils, but it also has a hint of vanilla, which is very comforting and warming. And so for her, the favorite oil for her to sleep at night is Citrus Bliss. I also added Melissa here because Melissa is one that you can diffuse. Now, I want to remind you that it's a small bottle. Anytime you have a small bottle, you use less essential oil because it's very potent. And Melissa is the oil of light. So if you have, again, and I hate to keep going back to if you've had a lot of life happen, but it seems like the last few years, unless you've been under a rock, you've had some life happen, or life happen to other people, or experiences, loss, or, whether it's a job or whatever. So we need to have that light put back into our life. And I love Melissa. One of my favorite things is to put a drop on my thumb and put it in the roof of my mouth and hold it there for just a few seconds. And then it's just amazing how it almost turns a light on, And one of the things that I was working with a gal today, I was like, imagine this light inside your body, and every time you take a breath in, it just gets brighter and brighter and bigger to where there's no room for negativity or darkness or sadness because there's so much light inside. You guys, so much of what we do comes from mindset and decisions and looking at things differently. On the right hand side, I have another just list of some of our favorite essential oils. Roman chamomile is a really great essential oil for just calming down the mind, especially like a spiritual, almost awakening of being able to have that connection. Marjoram, we talked about marjoram, lavender, serenity, juniper berry. And if you guys have the emotions book, which I highly recommend all of you guys get it, essential oils, or emotions and essential oils, because each one of these have a really great way to support us with our emotions, no matter what we've gone through or what we're growing through. Okay, now I just want to let you know that for a limited time right now in your back office, you can get the Rose Hydrosol Mist and the Moringa Rose Nourishing Serum. You guys, I always stock up on this because I get enough to last me until next year at Mother's Day, because it is a limited time product that only comes out once a year. I love the mist. So one of the things I use the mist for is, well, I have two things. One of them is we do detox foot soaks here, and I take that rose mist and I add a little bit of super mint to the bottle. I shake it up really good, and so after somebody's had their foot soak, I wash it off and get it all nice and clean, and then I mist it with this. And there's something about rose that just makes you feel like you've just been, given a big, huge hug. And whether we're, detoxing, doesn't matter what it is, a lot of stuff is leaving the body, and it can feel dehydrated and like something has left. So I love this mist. The other way I love to use this is after I put my makeup on in the morning, I use this as my toner set for my makeup. I love just breathing it in and smelling it. It's very lightweight. It's so nice. And then the Moringa Rose Serum, again, is for every skin type. Sorry. And you can use it. It has so many different benefits and nourishment, from thin lines to if your skin feels tired, maybe you've been out in the sun a lot or something, maybe you've gone through some kind of traumatic surgery or operation. This would be very, very soothing and comforting for all of those areas. It is one that when my daughter-in-law was pregnant, I made sure she had that to put not only on her face, but to also rub on her belly. And so our little one has had rose around him since she was conceived. All right. So then, you guys, this is just a snapshot of all of the bonuses and benefits that you get from having a doTERRA wholesale account. You can earn anywhere from 10 to 30% off your order by using rewards. And those points that you gather, you can turn in just like you would dollars at like a bank. You take your products, as soon as they accumulate, you can turn them in. And I just turned in 387 points, which means I got $387 worth of free product. We also have ways that you can get a free gift with purchase. The first time you order with rewards, and it's over 100, you get this amazing little sample set pictured on the right hand corner at the top. And then if you buy into our foundational wellness, which is, in my opinion, everyone needs to be on at minimum the foundational wellness products. The first time you buy that, you get a shaker bottle and a little bottle of peppermint, which is amazing. My shaker bottle sits right on my counter, and I see it, I use it. I've got a container with my recharge and my advantage and my VMG all sitting there, and then I have a drawer that I pull out that I've taken all of my supplements and opened them up in little containers. So all I have to do is go open up the drawer and pick out what it is that I need, shut the drawer, and I'm done, instead of opening up all the bottles. Okay, we're going to open it up for some questions or comments or any kind of sleep tips that you guys might have. But first, I want to say thank you for joining us on a Tuesday night as we're going into longer hours. And we'll, make sure that you guys remember you can always catch these replays of our recordings in Good Vibes, or you can find them on our YouTube channel. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to say goodnight to everyone who is watching the recording, and we'll stay open for comments, questions, and in just a second. So I'm going to go ahead and we'll stop the recording.